St. Paul happens every week. It's part of a national initiative that was started by the Kauffman Foundation. I think it's in over 70 cities now, and the format is the same in every city. Wednesday mornings, 9 to 10 a.m., startups come and give a 6-minute pitch, and then we get to be what I say is a challenging and yet friendly audience to that entrepreneur and that founder. So it's an opportunity for them to practice their pitch, be in front of this group, but it's also an opportunity for us to engage in their business and really help them move it forward. So for those of you who are here for the first time, get engaged in the conversation, the dialogue afterwards, and give constructive feedback and ask good questions, because what we want is we want Brian and we want Camp Native to succeed and to grow. And so it's both about helping a startup founder grow, and it's also about us as a community showcasing what's happening in the cities. And so every week we do this, we have startups present, and how you can participate in that entire process is by referring startups to 1 Million Cups, to me or to Paul Lampland, who are the organizers for 1 Million Cups here in the cities. So welcome, and with that, I'm going to turn it right over to Brian.
Thank you. I'm Brian Martell. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Camp Native. Usually our CEO does these pitches, but he's in San Francisco talking to some investors, so today you'll have to deal with me. Camp Native is the best place to list, discover, and reserve the perfect campsite. The best way to think of us is we're the hotels.com for camping. And back in January, David and I, being veteran entrepreneurs, we thought to ourselves, is camping really a big enough market to build a scalable and viable business? And it turns out camping's a big business. There's $10 billion generated every year in campground reservations, and the market's comprised of over 40 million campers who'd make 200 million reservations a year, and 97% of these people are planning ahead. And us at Camp Native, we're out to solve a couple big problems. The campground web experience is just terrible. 35% of campgrounds don't even have websites. The ones that do have, most of them are like this, a standard one-page website, a couple thumbnail photos, not very much text, and almost 100% of them are not mobile compatible. Also, once you go to actually try and make a reservation, you'll notice that less than 25% of these campgrounds even have online reservations, and you'll find a standard contact form, a phone number, maybe an email address, and it turns out to be very time-consuming for the camper and the campground. So Camp Native's solution starts with a profile page. We've assembled a database of a little over 25,000 campgrounds, and we've built a profile page for every single one of them with a unique URL. This is a place where they can upload beautiful photos, relevant content, all the way down to the campsite level too. And we're also tagging every single campground with the activities that you can do in the area. 87% of people who camp also participate in some outside activity, and oftentimes it's the primary reason why they went camping in the first place. So this allows users, let's say you like to go kayaking, you can search for camping that has kayaking available within 10 miles. Next, we built in a simple online reservation system into every profile page that all the campgrounds can utilize. And it functions very similar to Airbnb, so it's very easy for the camper and the campground to both manage on mobile or on their desktops. And then on the camper side, we've built profile pages. We call this the Passport. This is a place where the camper can upload photos, leave reviews of campgrounds, also add campsites and campgrounds to their wish list. And the wish list is important because 70% of people who camp as a group. So this is a place where they can collaborate, share campgrounds or campsites that they want to go to, and find the perfect camping experience for everyone in the entire group. We do have some competition. Reserve America, Campgrounds.com, and HipCamp. All of our competitors are focused on the campground as their customer. And because of this, they have a very limited inventory. On their websites, they only feature the campgrounds that are paying them money. Also, right now, they're all public land focused and going after the bigger contracts, and they all offer a pretty poor user experience. We're a marketplace solution, so we're actually free to the campground. And because of that, we include all the campgrounds. Having a basic profile page with us is completely free. We're also going to focus on the private land to begin with, and we have a very modern user experience. Our go-to-market strategy is we're going to contact the 25,000 campgrounds, and we're going to do this with email marketing, telemarketing, and digital marketing. We need them to claim their profile page, tag the activities in their area, and upload photos. We're focused heavily on the user experience, so we're going to be relying heavily on user-generated content, the photos from the campgrounds, and also the campers via the Passport. But to bridge the gap, we're hiring freelance photographers to go out to the campgrounds and take photos for us. And then we're also tying in the Google Places API. So for as many of the campgrounds as possible, we can have the best images available. Attract customers. We have a very unique opportunity here because 35% of campgrounds actually don't even have a website. So their Camp Native profile page stands to be the best place to find them on the internet. And then with the ones that do have websites, almost 100% of those aren't mobile compatible. So when people are searching on a mobile device, the Camp Native profile page stands to be the best place to find them and find relevant content. And then we'll also integrate search engine optimization and Google AdWords. And we've ran a couple social media geo-targeted campaigns and have been very successful so far. Like I said earlier, we're going to focus on the private segment first. And for two reasons. One, it's the easiest to penetrate, and two, we have the least amount of competition. Right now there's 17,000 private campgrounds in the US. They do 60 million annual reservations. The average reservation is $45. And our revenue model is simple. We just take a 10% reservation fee from the camper. And this equates to a 270 million revenue opportunity on an annual basis for Camp Native. We have a veteran team of entrepreneurs. We cover everything from marketing and sales, technology, and also finance. Our traction, we launched this company early January, and we got accepted into 4 accelerators. We actually ran through 2 of them in the last 6 months. We've added 2 key team members to our team. We have over 150 pre-sales of our product. We're over halfway on our current fundraising round, and our product is in beta and will be post-revenue by the end of this month. At Camp Native, we're very passionate about getting people outdoors, and we believe that camping is the gateway to the outdoors. And we think there's a lot of other areas where we can grow and expand this business. But for today, if you're a camper, we'd like you to check out Camp Native and discover, reserve, and review your next campground with us. Thank you. Any questions? Yeah.
Why do you care about this?
Why do I care about it? I love camping. We actually, me and David, my co-founder, we're both avid outdoors people, and we came up with this idea because we were actually planning a trip, and we realized we're like, this is impossible to find a good campground. And so I'm from a tech background, and he's from more of a sales background, and so we're like, there has to be a solution, and we couldn't find a very good solution out there, so we decided to build it.
Do you have a story from your life about how kind of camping impacted your, who you are as a person or anything?
I think just several growing up. My dad took me camping a lot. I remember one kind of when I was 10. It was my first big trip alone with my dad, and we caught a lot of fish, and it's very memorable. And ever since then, I've loved to fish and camp and hike and bike. And
I would start with that.
Okay, I will.
I want to challenge the fact that most campgrounds have a Facebook page to post their social media on. So I would think that almost all of them have a Facebook page and already have a social media experience. How do you talk to someone how they're moving that to your website?
Facebook pages would be complementary to our site, but Facebook pages you can't reserve or book. Also, from the research I've done, I don't know the exact stats, but most of them don't have Facebook pages, especially the private ones. And if they do, they're not utilizing them very well. So you can get some information, but a profile page on our site, you can automatically check the activities, amenities, all that stuff, electric hookups, where Facebook's not going to provide those features custom to a campground. Our site's all built out too. They actually can leave exact descriptions of each individual campsite, so you can book at the campsite level, and then in your passport you can actually review down to the campsite level. Because, for example, Tetaguche State Park, I love to camp there, but I like campsite 9 and 13, but I always forget which ones, and I always do the wrong ones. So on my personal profile, I can make sure that me and my wife know which ones we like, but I don't have to share that with the rest of the community because I don't want you booking campsite 9.
What's been the response from campsites that you've talked to? Have they wanted to adopt this, or is it been resistance?
So we've just started calling campgrounds, and every single one we've talked to has wanted to claim their profile page, and about 70 to 75% show interest in using our reservation system, which we haven't let people use yet. We're still testing that out. So I think everyone will adapt the profile page. They get really excited when we say we're going to promote them, and there'll be some hurdles getting them to use our reservation system. A lot of them don't use any reservation system. They use paper and a pencil, so it's hard to get those people to be like, hey, you could do it from your phone and tablets and stuff, and they're like, what? Nah. So there's going to be some, and some of them use like some of the ones I've talked to actually use a desktop version and they pencil everything in. And so the adaptation process, I think we need to find the niche that's just big enough where they're not using paper and just small enough where they don't have an online reservation system.
I know there's two people in the room who also work with small business owners who have terrible websites, and one is Paul Lampland, our co-organizer, who brings the Google Street View inside, so you might want to talk to him. And then Nate from Sticky Apps has a whole fleet of people who are working with small business owners to change their websites, but they just might, I'm volunteering you guys, you might have, you might have insights to how do you have those conversations with business owners who are making that transition into a new type of media? So,
Is it always free for the campsite? If they want to do the reservation system, is that all still free?
We charge the campsite at 3%. We charge them 3% credit card transactions, but they don't pay any other fees other than that. We think we'll have less resistance from the campers because most people are used to paying a fee when they book something. So.
Did you say just since January of this year?
Yep.
How did you get 25,000 campsites up by this?
We hired 6 people to scrape every list we could find, scrape every Google full-time, including myself. I spent about 4 hours every night finding every single campground that we could.
Back to the user experience, customer acquisition, and when they first go to your website and they start searching, there's a pretty many different data fields that they search.
So from the homepage, there's only 2 data fields, and then when you get into our actual search page, there's lots of data fields they can, but you have to click to bring them over. So you can search like by a million different, well, not a million, but tons of different stuff. But you can just do a simple search. I want to camp in Minnesota, or I want to camp in northern Minnesota, and whatever, in this many miles, and you don't even have to fill out the dates. You can. A lot of our competitors and like hotels, you search by the dates first, and then it's hard because they're filtering out campgrounds if your dates are flexible. So you don't have to have dates in there when you're searching.
So you referenced 17,000 private campsites, but you also mentioned 25,000 campgrounds. Is that the difference? Is that state and national campgrounds?
Yep, state and national.
So you're tied in with the National Forest Service and how they're doing theirs.
Yep.
On top of what they're already doing?
Yep, and we'll obviously go after those, but our target for our whole sales staff is going to be the private ones, and then me and my partner will go after some of those. A lot of the states, there's contracts that come up for bid, and so we're making a list of when those come up, and we're obviously going to compete for that. And then like all the Fed, and some of the states are all different too. Some of them work together, so it's figuring out all that, and we'll be going after them, but not our primary focus.
Hey, you touched on this a little bit. What would be the incentive for a visitor to book through the site versus using it to find a campsite and then book directly to avoid the fees?
They definitely can do that, but I don't think we'll have a huge hurdle from that because I don't think most users aren't really that sticker shocked with a 10% service fee when they're buying something online. And when they call, I don't know about you, but I hate calling and trying to talk to the person and them trying to figure out the date. I'd rather just pay the $4 if it's a $45 ticket. But that, so I guess we'll see, but I don't think we're going to have a lot of resistance there. Most of our competitors in the marketplace charge $8 a night, so they're about 20%. So if you look at most campers, if they do book online, they're used to paying about $8 to $12 a night on top of the 45. So,
what's the approximate split in actual campsites between your target and then the public ones that you're not pursuing? Do you know how? I mean,
the public has another 8,000, but they generate 140,000 reservations, and they're mostly bigger campsites. And so the private sector has 17,000, but generates 60 million reservations on an annual basis.
I might have missed this, but are you somehow vetting these places at all in terms of safety, cleanliness, things like that, or is it whoever will have you?
We have to vet them a little bit because of the credit card stuff, but we're going to rely a lot on user reviews as far as, I mean, I'm not going to drive to each one and check out how clean they are, hopefully the user reviews will help vet out some of the ones that are poor.
I guess it sounds like as a user, like I could go anywhere campsite, but at least you're creating a better user experience.
Yeah.
So how do you, like, what are you offering the businesses? So basically this is a website for them that they could just, can they redirect their website to their Camp Native page? And
Yep.
say just go here and
Yeah, the ones that have really crappy websites and that aren't mobile friendly, we are encouraging them to just direct their traffic straight to us. Or we'll help them build a little better website and just direct their reservations to us. It's going to be easiest for them if they manage all their inventory just on one platform. So some of them are using competitors right now, and they could use both theoretically, but it'll be easier for them if they manage everything all on one platform. Is that kind of? So we're offering them a free, right now most of them pay a monthly fee plus a transaction fee. We're only charging them the 3% credit card fees.
so like for their website, how does that work? Like you come to me, oh yeah, I have a campground, it'd be really cool. My website's crappy, so.
Yeah. We would just say, hey, direct your traffic to us. We'll help get all the images for you, help make sure we have relevant content, and we'll have our copywriters help write better content for you with the content you provide. And then make sure that we can really sell your experience to the campers for you. Because we want to sell your product as much because your product is our inventory. So we're going to be working hard for you and driving traffic to you because that's when we make money.
What do you see as your biggest challenge? Is it getting inventory, or is it getting?
I think getting the inventory from the preliminary studies we've done on social media and geo-targeted ads and looking at our competitors as far as we're already starting to build SEO and stuff, I think getting the campers is not going to be as hard. Getting the inventory and getting them to actually give us the information and images is going to be our biggest hurdle probably.
Let's talk about revenue streams. Obviously, you get $4 a night or something like that. That's nice, okay, but it's kind of a seasonal thing. This and that. What other revenue streams are available to you as you grow?
The revenue streams are actually kind of endless, and the more presentations we've done, and people are like, "Oh, you should do marinas, and you should also have people book kayaking trips and do this." And I think it'd be easy for a campground to go in their area and find the different activities, and you could book those right through that campground's profile page as well. And eventually we will get into that, but in the short term, we're just going to be the best online reservation system for the campgrounds, and we're not going to do any other revenue streams. I think there's possibilities with product or affiliate marketing or partnering with someone like REI. Once we have all the users, we know where they're camping and we know what activities they're doing. Just that data alone is pretty valuable. But we're not going to utilize any of that for the first couple of years at least. So we want to stay laser focused.
So you mentioned Tataguchi 9 or 13. Are you able to create alerts that maybe you could monetize, that if Wednesday night Tataguchi 9 is available for the weekend, you can send an alert out to yourself and then monetize that somehow?
Yeah, so we have the email piece built in for that. We're not exactly sure how we're going to open that up. Like maybe if I choose to follow Tataguchi or something, they can send me emails. We don't want people to ever be able to email our entire database or ping, but yeah, if I opt in, like I want the updates for Tataguchi, then we do have the ability to send those emails out.
Any other questions?
If I'm a campground owner and a top review, a picture of a pile of garbage or something like that, does that stay up there forever?
Good question. That's something we've been talking about a lot. If you have a review system, you have to be really careful about taking down reviews because that kind of takes away from what it's supposed to be. So the short answer is yes, it'll stay there forever. The long answer is I think maybe a case by case if we can tell that it's someone just really trying to hurt the campground and it's not really a true review of the place, I think I would maybe look into taking it down, but I'd be really hesitant to take down any review. But we do have systems in place to ping us if people are leaving multiple reviews on the same campground or campsites or in the same area or purposely doing stuff like that. So we will moderate that maybe a titch.
Piggyback on that, if there is a review, like a legitimate bad review, and that campground corrects that situation, would you then take that down, or would you then have some sort of indication to say that, this has been changed, or, however you can address that?
I don't think I would take it down, but I would allow them or allow us to comment below that negative review and say it has been verified, or put a picture or something. If it was a bad picture, put a picture that it's been cleaned up. But I'm going to be very, very hesitant taking down any type of reviews.
Okay, but they will be able to respond.
I think they could respond. I'm definitely open to that.
All right, Brian, the last question we always ask is, after this conversation, what can this community do for you?
If you know campers, we'd like camper traffic. If you know any campground owners, I'd love to talk to them. And we are finishing a round of investment, so if you know investors who would be looking in early stage, any early stage guys, we're looking to finish our round.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and thanks everybody for coming today for the Funders School and the 1 Million Cups. We hope to see you back next week. We have a couple great startups the next 2 weeks. If you are a startup, come talk to Paul Lampland or myself. We'd love to get you scheduled to present on 1 Million Cups.